Entering the residential real estate market in Kenya, that's what we'll be talking about. You could be moving out of home when it's time you thought of getting your own place. You could be moving into the country from abroad and coming in to take on a job. And possibly at times your office has been sorting out your residential, where you stay, and now you want to get into this market yourself. The first thing that you need to be very clear about is what is your budget? How much are you willing to spend? The other thing you may want to consider is have an option of preferred neighborhoods. This could be several, and they could be determined by a couple of things. It could be proximity to your office. It could be proximity to schools for your children or something like that. It could be proximity to yourself. You could be going to school, like say you're furthering your studies, you're doing a master's here. It could be proximity to that. It could be availability of public transport. It could be security in case you're driving and you want to feel like you're in a secure neighborhood. And also your budget will ultimately determine what location we're talking about. So when you have this, it is very critical for you to use a reliable professional. That would be a very good place to start, but there are also other reliable sources of information about what is available to let in the residential space. But you need to be careful of conmen because they are there and it's a reality, but you just need to be careful to go to dependable source. You may look for a referral, you may look for places where people can trust, like their malls with notice boards, and possibly you could get a referral that is trustworthy. You could also check some of these places. Now, what you need to know about renting a house, it could be an apartment, it could be a standalone unit, it could be a duplex. What you need to know about renting this is that in Kenya, we will do tenancies mainly for a year to 2 years. They are often reduced into writing, therefore you'll have a document. You'll keep a copy and the landlord will keep a copy. We pay rent either monthly or quarterly in advance. I know this usually comes as a shocker for some people who are coming from countries where they do rent annually in advance. No, in Kenya, it is actually either monthly or quarterly in advance. Residential rent is not vatable, so you'll just be paying the rent as it is. An additional cost that will come to play here is service charge, and service charge is determined by a couple of factors. Like for example, if you're in a standalone unit and you're all alone, you may not need to pay service charge, but you then need to cater for all services that you enjoy. So if you want a guard at your gate, you have to pay, you engage your own contract and pay for them. If you want garbage collected, engage your own service provider and that kind of a thing. For those in apartment blocks or in compounds where they share some of these services together, the amount of service charge will vary depending on the kind of facilities they are in. Like for example, those people with lifts, you expect to pay slightly higher service charge to properties where they are low. Those living in the coastal region and therefore an AC is almost, for those with ACs, then you expect that. Your mechanical installations, that being lifts and ACs, will actually they'll drive the service charge up because these have to be maintained and they have to be maintained by professionals in that space. The people with swimming pools in a compound, a gym, you could be having a clubhouse, you then expect to also pay more. The gardening, the landscaping, those are some of the expenses that come into play in service charge, and therefore the complexity and the more there is, the higher you'll pay in service charge.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.